Good morning and welcome. I hope you either enjoyed your breakfast already or are looking forward to enjoying it after our program this morning. I think things are really aligned for us with the weather. They were predicting snow, and people that have chaired this breakfast in the past know we've had that before, but we're very fortunate, and I believe the Archbishop will take credit for the weather. I'm Bill McCarthy, the Executive Director of Catholic Charities, and I'm especially happy to have all of you with us here this morning. I'm sure you're wondering why we're outside, which is because we want to be sure that everyone who decided to come in person is safe. And we'll recognize the awareness of COVID and our nearness to the holidays. So we just want to make sure everyone is well and safe. Many of you know a more traditional version of today, the leadership breakfast. A simple time that we gather in the dining room inside, where many of you were before this, and my colleagues serve breakfast to all of you who have been such strong supporters of our mission and work. We've been having this breakfast for nearly 40 years, breaking bread together in the dining room, where so many of our neighbors find their only sure meal of the day, as a way of reminding ourselves of what humility and dignity look like. Some of you are attending today, either in person or via our live stream, as newly invited guests, and I'm really happy you're here. On behalf of our regular leadership breakfast group, I'm excited to extend an extra special welcome to you. I also want to especially recognize a few people. Catholic Charities Board Chair and the Archbishop of Baltimore, Archbishop William Lori. Maryland Senate President Bill Ferguson will be joining us shortly, so I wanted to recognize him. Baltimore Deputy Mayor Faith Leach, representing Mayor Scott. Joyce Binns from the Governor's Office of Community Initiatives, representing Governor Hogan. And I know Jerome Stevens will be joining us representing U.S. Senator Ben Cardin. And I know Kristen King's here from Baltimore County, and I believe Pat Murray will be here representing Baltimore County and County Executive Johnny Oshesky. Also, I want to recognize, I saw Judge Katie O'Malley joined us today. And I'm really grateful for our Catholic Charities board members who are truly stewards of our mission for being with us. Could I have our Catholic Charities board members please stand to be recognized? I've also seen many of our past previous breakfast chairs with us today, and I'm grateful for them. One particular former breakfast chair isn't with us today, and it's the first time he missed our breakfast, and that's Rick Burnt. But he sent really the person, the master behind Rick. Linda Jones is with us today, so we're really in much better stead there. It occurred to me that this gathering and this breakfast is kind of like the way we've been serving our meals for our neighbors over the last nearly 2 years due to the pandemic. Either serving meals inside in the dining room in person when it was safe, or grab and go during much of the time. And we typically rely on about 45 volunteers a day, and during COVID, we weren't allowed to have volunteers. So my colleagues really stepped up to make sure that people were still served and fed at our daily bread. 6 months ago, we marked the 40th anniversary of our daily meal service here at our Daily Bread Employment Center. Even during COVID, our neighbors who are food insecure knew they could find nourishment here every day. To keep that in mind, 40 years, 14,000 uninterrupted consecutive days, encountering, greeting, and serving almost 8 million meals. That's just extraordinary. We are here today on this special occasion for a reason that's been pulling at our hearts for a long time. We are here because we want to help more. And I think you want to do that as well. Those of you who are here in person picked up a name tag when you arrived with a question on it. How can I help more? Or give more? Or love more? You wrote your name on a name tag and you put it on. When you did that, you're committing yourself to that reflection. Maybe you've been thinking about it already if you've seen or heard these questions being posed around town on billboards and on media for the last several weeks. If you're watching online from home or at the office, maybe you've seen these questions and thought about them yourself. I'm excited to say that, along with others in our community who are responding to those questions, today we're going to start finding answers. And then we're going to take another major step forward in the journey we share.
This past year, as Marylanders navigated so much challenge and so many personal journeys, as we encountered grief and gratitude, sorrow and strength, pain and promise, we realized a new way forward.
We worked in our kitchens and our communities. We held the understanding that promise does not equal perfection, and we held on to the hope of a path towards something better for ourselves and for the neighbors we encounter.
As our neighbors' needs grew, Catholic Charities stayed committed. With their accompaniment across the state and throughout programs, neighbors found a guaranteed meal 261,471 times. Individuals experiencing homelessness found a safe place to sleep 113,331 times, and 110 individuals found work at an average of $13.50 per hour.
Witnessing the pain, the resilience, and the determination of those neighbors, each one of us knew it could be us one day. We wanted more than ever to accompany them toward stability. We often asked ourselves, how can I help more?
Please welcome Catholic Charities colleague and former client, Jerry Pryor.
Hello everyone. My name is Jerry Pryor. I'm a case manager for Catholic Charities. The question is, how can I help more? The year 2002 was a dark and desolate time for me, and Catholic Charities was there for me. I was struggling with substance use and alcohol. I was homeless, I was hopeless, and I was helpless. Christopher Place has allowed me to reevaluate my life. They helped me set a plan that I could move forward in my life. Now I'm providing help for those in need. Better yet, I'm providing a bud of faith, a seed of hope that sparks confidence and reunite families. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that I thank Catholic Charities and all the supporters for wholeheartedly being there for me. Make no mistake about it. Without Catholic Charities' help, there is no unspeakable joy that you see today. Without Catholic Charities' help and the supporters, there is no case manager. Without Catholic Charities' help and support, there is no 20 years of sobriety. I will say this, that God has a way of bringing things full circle, because I now work for this program that I was once in. The question is, how can I help more? And here's what I believe. I can help more by providing help for those who are in struggle, the downtrodden, those who are less fortunate. In other words, helping other people every day. That's the greater promise. That's my acronym for hope. And I thank you all. Have a great day.
So many things challenge our ability to love these days. It's hard to stay focused on kindness when we're confronted by anger, when our streets turn violent, when voices rise in resentment or accusation, when we're so frustrated by what's wrong. it can be difficult to keep ourselves safe in mind and body, let alone others.
During a time when pandemic kept pain private, 7,026 women, men, and children found mental and behavioral health care through Catholic Charities' Villa Maria Community Resources. 787 enrolled in substance use disorder treatment. 971 youth in mental health crisis avoided hospitalization or found continuing care. When fear made it harrowing for immigrant neighbors to seek help, 170 unaccompanied minors from other countries were reunified with family or sponsors through the Esperanza Center. And immigrants who couldn't get health insurance found care in the Esperanza Center Health Clinic 2,126 times.
In our isolation, our anxieties, and our ache for togetherness, we saw the impact this radical kind of kinship could have, and we asked ourselves, how can I love more? Please welcome Terry Bex.
I saw a great quote the other day. Love is deaf. You can't just tell someone you love them, you have to show it. Now, if you know me, you know I'm not a quiet person. Maybe I can blame it on growing up with 6 brothers. So the concept of love being deaf speaks to me because true love is demonstrative and loving more requires action. Loving my children means squeezing them in good times and bad to let them know I'm always there for them. Loving my children more means showing up, either by uncomfortably busting up an underage party or becoming an avid football fan when my son suddenly decides to play the sport in his senior year. Loving my community means praying through a crisis or celebrating the small victories when they occur. Loving more requires a commitment to community changes through financial support or volunteer work. I have been a Catholic Charities board member since 2013, and I can honestly say that no one loves our Maryland community more. I have seen firsthand the love between caregivers and their clients. And I've also participated in the difficult decisions to cancel a program when the costs outweigh the benefits. Love isn't always easy, and loving more requires difficult decisions to be made. Love is a powerful emotion, but it's more than a feeling. Our work with Catholic Charities turns love from a feeling into a verb. True love requires action. To love more means to become fully vested in each other's lives. Loving more in our community means reaching out to all, no matter their race, gender, creed, or sexual orientation. We are all more alike than we are different.
What does it take to make your day? A kind word, a compliment from a stranger, a little credit for a job well done? It can be something small. And yet, so often, we find ourselves challenged by what it takes to change someone's life. It can feel so overwhelming to look for ways to lift up others. The truth is, most of the time, when it comes to improving lives, it's the same thing as making your day. Something small from each of us, adding up over time.
In the last fiscal year, more than 2,400 of Maryland's older adults came home to one of Catholic Charities' 24 senior communities across the state. 444 elders found healing, compassionate care at St. Elizabeth Rehabilitation and Nursing Center, and elders at home received 22,256 calls to check in. 174 adults with intellectual or developmental disabilities lived the life they chose, with supports from Gallagher Services. Neighbors in Sandtown, Winchester, and Brooklyn Curtis Bay stayed safer, with 534 prevented shootings and conflict de-escalations. And they found 238 COVID-safe events where a sense of community created the kind of connection that prevents violence.
feeling the profound sense of what we can provide for one another, how we can improve lives when we're connected with our communities, we asked ourselves, how can I give more? Please welcome Dan Rizzo.
Everyone here, in person or watching remotely, has been blessed by God with wonderful gifts that we share with others every day. Whether it be support of a family member or friend in need, helping a colleague through a work challenge, providing critical volunteer time to one of Catholic Charities' many wonderful programs, or supporting them financially, you are all here because you see the importance of sharing your blessings. To me, giving more means giving sacrificially. But giving sacrificially is as much for ourselves as it is for those whom we're giving our time, talent, and treasure. Indeed, it creates a wonderful, virtuous cycle. When I give more, when I give sacrificially, it prompts me to count my blessings, to remember all that I'm thankful for as I put my sacrifice in context. I think about what I've been blessed with, what's really important to me, the family that loves me, the friends that support me, the community that supports me. It's my sacrifice and this reflection on gratitude that emerges great feelings of joy, which makes the sacrifice not feel like a sacrifice at all. Then when I see the impact of my sacrifice, the opportunity given to a young child to learn, the comfort of safe and secure housing, the satisfaction of a warm meal on a cold day, that joy is compounded. I recall a Catholic reflection that I read earlier this year, which reminded me that joy is more than just an emotion. It's spiritual in nature. It's the experience of realizing the action of God in your life. Seeing God at work in wonderful ways leads to gratitude and rejoicing. This joy produces a strength and energy that is contagious and uplifting. Giving more is joyous, and I'm honored to be here to rejoice with all of you today.
We come from a lot of places and backgrounds. Those things can seem like separations, but what we have in common carries a power that defies those separations. We are all on a journey of dignity, value, and promise.
And when challenge seems overwhelming and neighbors seem to need more than any of us can offer, when we feel powerless, tired, unsure of how to be of help, there is still a way we can answer these questions. And that answer is simpler than you think. In fact, it's been right here in our communities all along. The answer is together. We can help more. Together.
We can love more. Together.
We can give more. Together. For nearly 100 years, Catholic Charities has been part of the community, finding ways, with your invaluable support, to accompany neighbors on their paths. That means helping them to go home to a stable, safe, inclusive place. Empowering their careers by finding meaningful, sustainable work. Welcoming new neighbors after dangerous and desperate journeys. Helping older adults age with dignity, finding compassionate care wherever they spend their days. And helping neighbors heal from trauma and addiction.
Together, we can make a greater promise. Together, we can keep it.
Nearly a century since Catholic Charities of Baltimore was created, we have charted a new path forward. It's a path to our greater promise, a commitment we are announcing today to move together into the future of our communities with your investment, accompanying our neighbors as they fulfill their own great promise. It involves a bold next step on the shared journey. Our new $75 million Greater Promise Comprehensive Campaign, the first major campaign Catholic Charities has embarked on in nearly 20 years.
Our Greater Promise is a commitment to meet Marylanders in need where they are and walk with them on the way towards their potential. Together, we'll sustain core programs. Through 2023, we'll fund our essential programming for the needs we see today. We'll also meet increased need by expanding our housing and workforce programs, our behavioral, mental health care and immigration services, our children and family programming, and our care for older adults.
We will invest in the continued success of communities who invite us to collaborate on their own vision of their potential through projects like the Cherry Hill Town Center. We will renovate key areas, increasing space to serve, and addressing location needs at Our Daily Bread Employment Center, My Sister's Place Women's Center, new satellite areas for Esperanza Center, and all of our 24 senior housing communities. But our promise doesn't end there.
Our greater promise means working toward a no wrong door model, so that any kind of essential service our neighbors might need is no more than a footstep or a phone call away. Together, we will pilot and innovate programming and delivery that meets emerging needs through an invigorating new innovation fund. And we will complete capital projects for new programs with the potential to change lives. We will transform our supports for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities and create a nursing suite and library at our Delaney Valley Gallagher Services Center.
And we will create a state-of-the-art intergenerational center in West Baltimore to serve families in the community with a thriving community hub of resources. It will begin with Head Start classrooms for early childhood education and develop into a single place that can serve the needs of every generation, with their voices at the center of the planning.
With more than 80 programs and 200 locations, Catholic Charities serves 9 counties in Baltimore City. My 1,800 colleagues and thousands of volunteers assist, accompany, and help hundreds of thousands of our neighbors every year. Catholic Charities is the largest and a highly effective human services program in the state of Maryland. We represent the community. Our colleagues and volunteers and clients are reflective of the community. Today, I'm excited to announce that we've raised $45 million in our Greater Promise campaign. This is due to the amazing work of our campaign cabinet and our campaign leadership, Lisa and Bill Stromberg and Mark Bunting. I'm so humbled by the generosity of so many to this point, and I would like to invite each of you to join us as we bring this campaign to Greater Promise to a conclusion.
Long before today, for nearly 100 years, Catholic Charities has been part of our communities, feeding those who were hungry, sheltering those who needed a safe bed, finding families for those who had none.
The future with Catholic Charities is one where working for justice and walking on journeys are intertwined. One where there may be stumbles on each person's path toward their greater promise, but there is no wrong door to the assistance they may need to get up and move on.
The women and men who make up Catholic Charities aren't trying to be saviors or superheroes. They're simply a steady hand. Someone who reaches out and says, "I can tell your journey's a hard one. I'll walk with you if you want me to." For all these years, that's what we've done, in ways that have made a profound difference to every individual who got stronger because of that steady hand. And every community gets stronger when their neighbors do. If we want more stable and secure individuals and families, and healthier, safer communities, if we want more for each other, more for Baltimore and the communities and counties that surround it, it's time for us to invest in the one organization that has spent nearly a century investing in us.
Today, Catholic Charities reminds us that when we lift our eyes up to look past the challenges in front of us, we see each other. And that's when we realize
There is no limit to how we can help.
No limit to what we can give.
no limit to what we can give together.
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 Join us
Greater Promise.
in the Greater Promise.
Good morning. I'm Archbishop William Laurie, and I'm very pleased to be with all of you this morning as together we launch a deeply meaningful and new commitment to all Marylanders who live in the cities and counties that comprise the Archdiocese of Baltimore. The ministry of Catholic Charities is universal. No matter where you come from, no matter what your background may be, no matter what you believe in, or how you found yourself in your present circumstances, you are inherently worthy of the same dignity as every other person. Catholic social teaching requires that we all serve one another with grace and with mercy. But it also requires that you and I give particular energy, focus, attention to our neighbors who experience poverty, homelessness, addictions, and other vulnerabilities. It guides us to seek ways to grow in solidarity with one another, to strengthen our society, and to act with justice and with compassion. Catholic Charities works mightily to minimize the impact of need, while also working for that justice which reduces the need itself. And it does this in every individual encounter, in communal listening and learning, in advocacy, and yes, in action. Through collaborations, partnerships, and other ventures, Catholic Charities works to create a kind of communion of spirit, working together to help each and every individual and community achieve their God-given potential. God sees the greater promise in each one of us, that greater promise for which we were created. Today, I invite you to see that greater promise in your neighbor and in your community, and to join Catholic Charities in delivering on that promise together. May God bless each and every one of you and all the communities that collectively we call home. Thank you so much for being here. And now, please carry the energy of this day with you as the incomparable Mark G. Meadows and friends give us this exclusive performance. Let's give it up for them, please.
How often do you stop and take a minute to be alone and realize how you feel? Are you living life the way you wanna? Are you taking time for what is real? We talk and talk about what needs to happen. It seems like everybody should improve. If change is like a chemical reaction, I think the activation starts with you. In time, everything must change. Nothing ever stays the same. Every day we have to choose what we're gonna do. It's all up to you. Be the change that you wanna see. Take care of each other and you best believe we'll change the world, it's you and me. Just be the change you wanna see. Be the change you wanna see. Take care of each other and you best believe we'll change the world, it's you and me. Just be the change you wanna see. preach to everybody that you talk to, pretending as if you are in the know, when really you're the one who needs to listen, 'cause preaching is a cover for your soul. The time is now, I sit around just waiting, act as if your brother is in need. If it were you, there'd be no hesitating, so give yourself with generosity. In time, everything must change, nothing ever stays the same. Every day we have to choose what we're gonna do. It's all up to you. Be the change that you wanna see. Take care of each other and you best believe, yeah, we'll change the world, just you and me. Just be the change you wanna see. Be the change you wanna see. Take care of each other and you best believe we'll change the world, you and me. Just be the change you wanna see. Everything must change, nothing ever stays the same. Every day we have to choose what we're gonna do. It's all up to you. Be the change you wanna see. Take care of each other and you best believe we'll change the world, it's you and me. Just be the change you wanna see. Be the change you wanna see. Take care of each other and you best believe we'll change the world, you and me. Just be the change you wanna see. Be the change you wanna see. Be the change you wanna see.